Okay, so obviously I've seen on Twitter that David Stockdale wasn't too happy going back to Birmingham City. How disappointing was it not to keep him maybe for a couple more games until Rocky and Eves are back from injury?
Yeah, David's a fantastic keeper, and he proved that in the game at Accrington. He's got a fantastic pedigree and played in the Premier League, so somebody like that, you want to keep hold of. But things happen, and this is football. I think this is a stark reminder that it's not all plain sailing, and things can come into the deals. And Birmingham obviously they wanted him back. They weren't going to let him play anymore after that week, and I think we have to say thank you to David, and then as a manager totally focus on getting the next one in, and that's Stephen Henderson, who again championship calibre, international under his belt at youth level, and played both in the League One and the Championship. So your week is a long time in football, believe me, and it's almost like the games. You're only as good as your last game, so whatever we've done in the last few games, a defeat on Saturday would change everyone's opinion very quickly, and it's the same with the goalkeepers. You've just got to put one to bed and get the next one in. Thank David, and I've thanked him personally, and he loved it here. But now it's all about Stephen Henderson coming in and performing for us.
Having that week off last week, did you see it as a help or hindrance considering the form we've been on recently?
Yeah, it's a tough question, and it's a great question because momentum is really important in football. We do classes on momentum here with our boys, and when you're winning, when you're in form, you actually want to keep going and you feel good. But it can work both ways. When you've been beat, as a player, the best thing is the next game coming very quickly, So I think what was the great thing was that we won our last game with 10 days to spare. We were allowed to watch the FA Cup weekend. There hasn't been any league games since, so 10 days of the boys to let sink in what they've done in recent weeks, to look at that league table, know that they can compete against them, and I think it's going to work in our favour. And I'll judge them on performance on Saturday, not result. Results can go either way. Referees, fantastic teams in form, big money teams, resources. As long as the performance is there and the legs are there, I know that the break hasn't been the issue. It's been other factors that have attributed to the result. But so performance is on me, and that's as a manager to see through the results sometimes difficult. But you've got to do it for your players, and I'll be looking at performance.
Touching on that home form we've had this season, in previous seasons it's been our away form that's been our strong point. What do you think the catalyst has been this year for the change in home form?
I'm not sure. It's probably the boys, the standard of players we've brought in now. I think it's a different level. The belief in the boys has been great. The Wembley season we're fantastic at home again, but the away form's always been there. We've always been this club that travels, the underdog that goes to other places, and I think that's played a big part in us. But I think some of the players we've signed in recent years, they've really been experienced boys, want to make Adams Park a fortress, know how important your home form is, and I think your likes of Akinfenwa and El Abd and people we've brought in recently, the experienced boys, Tyson, Mikael Smith, they've all added towards that home form. They know how important that is, and I think they've driven the team at home into being a tough place to come, and I'm proud of that. That's what you need as a team, and if we can keep that up, then we'll have every chance of surviving this year.
Just go one more. Finally. How do you see the game unfolding Saturday? Obviously, would it be a similar game to the Peterborough one where we look to frustrate them early doors and then play them off the park essentially in the second half? So.
I wish it would. I wish we could say it would be that easy every game. Peterborough was a huge hard work game. Sunderland again, very very similar. So we know we're going to be in for a tough one. I think they're free scoring, the centre forwards probably the top scorers in the league between them. I think 18, 19 goals, which is phenomenal at this stage of the season. They attack very very well. We believe there's some defensive weaknesses that we can exploit, but it's all about the way the games play out. Goals change games, and tactics can have to change very soon in games. So seeing it play out in my head and seeing what I'd love, the absolute great scenario that I want in my head, I guarantee that that will be totally different on Saturday, and it's all about being a manager then, and adapting and being flexible to different situations and what happens during the game, and making those tough decisions. But no, I know how we want to start, I know how I want to set up, and we'll go from there.
Sweet.